On a humid, early August morning, I joined local residents, conservationists, ecologists, emergency managers, community advocates, educators, and students at the Wild Center for a conference on adaptability and resilience to flooding in the Adirondacks. After checking in, I had a few minutes to see some critters before programming began. These are the center's resident mallards, the Blues Brothers, who take on the role of animal ambassadors. Everyone made their way to the Flammer Theater, where conference co-chairs Jen Kresser and Nicole Baker welcomed attendees and introduced the day's agenda. Dr. Kurt Sager opened programming with a deep dive into what water is to set the stage for a day of understanding what water does. Then, attendees had a choice between 3 concurrent hands-on breakout sessions. Josh LaFountain of the Nature Conservancy used a stream table to demonstrate best road stream crossing practices. He explained the movement of sediment and how that could impact the integrity of many of our current culverts. Gary Henry from the Ausable Freshwater Center taught audience members about the technology and mathematics involved in predicting flood risk, including peak flow equations, stream gauge records, and rainfall runoff models. Annie Arnold and staff from the Paul Smith College Adirondack Watershed Institute took attendees on a field trip to Greenleaf Pond, where they discussed the use of aquatic macroinvertebrates as bioindicators for the health, integrity, and resilience of aquatic ecosystems. Everyone met back in the Flammer Theater for 2 panel discussions. The first, moderated by Merle McGee from the Adirondack Experience, featured 3 Adirondack artists who shared how their skills, from fiber arts to quilting to curation, have been a conduit through which they can describe the consequences of climate change, as well as its historical context and associated emotions. Here you'll see Yagona Goliosta, citizen of the Mohawk Nation, Bear Clan, presenting her quilted adaptation of the Long Sioux Rapids.
The hills and mountains with water trickling into the streams and river, merging many small rivers into our big river and cascading to the ocean, all the while evaporating back to the sky, replenishing this life-sustaining cycle.
The artist panel was followed by a community panel, moderated by Sunita Hallis from the Adirondack Council. Anne Marie Mason, Director of Emergency Services for Warren County, outlined the county's initiative to document all county-owned culverts to do a sort of triage process, determining which culverts are the most vulnerable to flooding. Joe Pete Wilson, Keene Town Supervisor, spoke about managing flood risks in an area that is incredibly susceptible to downstream flooding.
So bringing people together for these conversations with the intersection of not just one perspective, but people, water, landscape.
Alexandra Jacobs-Wilkie, Mayor of Potsdam, shared a 2024 failure of the village's stormwater management system, a canal that runs through the village beneath the roadways. Colin Powers, Executive Director of the Boquet River Association, gave insight into the areas within the watershed at high risk of flooding and the steps he and his team have taken to reduce these risks.
Your depiction of those, there we go, HRA means high risk area. So there are 7 high risk areas in our watershed. 2 of those are large municipalities, that's Willsboro and Elizabethtown, county seat.
To close out the day, Tim Koch, Stream Restoration Specialist for the State Department of Environmental Conservation, described a future built upon avoiding, minimizing, and mitigating flood risks in the Adirondacks.
I think of it like the junk drawer in the kitchen, the scary corner in the basement where you put your holiday supplies. Those are infrequently used parts of your home. Doesn't make them any less important. If you were to all of a sudden lose access to that scary corner in the basement, your house would probably start to look and function a lot differently. And it's the same with rivers. If a river loses access to its floodplain, it starts to look and behave differently.
To learn more about the people, agencies, and tools that are leading Adirondack communities towards future flooding resilience, visit www.adirondackexplorer.org.